let's talk about something that no one wants to talk about, but everybody talks about all the time. What? Giving up caffeine. That'll piss people off real quick. Let's talk about it. I'm Juli Bauer Roth, the food, fitness, and lifestyle blogger behind PaleOMG. Welcome to my channel. I'm here to share my favorite food, workout, and wellness tips to help you live your best damn life. And guess what? Sometimes we gotta look at that caffeine intake. Yeah, we live in a world where we are consumed by caffeine. Coffee runs our life. Starbucks hit and kablamo! There's a coffee shop on every corner. We work from coffee shops. We meet friends at coffee shops. We hang out and just drink coffee for no reason because we have nothing else to do. If you're like a teenager, you're like, I don't know where to go. Let's go hang out at Starbucks. Are malls still a thing? Do kids still go to malls? I don't know. But either way, our lives are run by coffee, and it usually starts pretty early. I can't remember my first coffee drink, but I'm sure it was a Frappuccino. I think I tasted my mom's black coffee and I was like, why the hell would you ever drink this stuff? But I also think that about alcohol too. Those are some weird taste buds you guys got if you're just like, oh, I love my coffee black. You love bitterness? What? That's not for me. I want my coffee to taste like maple syrup. That's why I like to add maple syrup to it, you know? But either way, we are a society addicted to caffeine. It is something we all look forward to. Well, many of us look forward to. Waking up in the morning and having our coffee and feeling like we're ready to go. There are memes all over the place about don't talk to me until I have my coffee. I really need to scratch my nose. Oh, God. I mean, if you want to find a meme about coffee, just go on Pinterest and you'll spend your entire lifetime there. Everybody talks about coffee and caffeine. But are there downsides? I mean, maybe for you, maybe not for another person, or vice versa. Who freaking knows? But I wanted to share my experience about cutting out caffeine altogether, because maybe it'll help you in something you're going through. So back in 2020, I started something called the Bean Protocol. It was all about eating a ton of fiber, a ton of soluble fiber to help get rid of any toxins and any excess hormones in the body. Soluble fiber clings to these toxins, you poop it out. Well, with the Bean Protocol, you cut all kinds of other things out. Dairy, sugar, caffeine, all kinds of things. And so I was like, okay, I wanna go all in on this because I wanna see if I can clear my acne with this. And that's what it promised. So one of those things was cutting out caffeine. And I was like, that's no big deal. I have one coffee a day. But during 2020, when we were in the lockdown, I still went to my favorite coffee shop every day because I really wanted to support them. And I would get a coffee, I would get a treat, I would get food, whatever. So sometimes I would have a coffee and a half, my morning coffee, and then usually drink kind of like half my coffee that I got from my coffee shop. But I never felt like I was addicted because there would be days that I just forgot to have my coffee or I had something else going on and I didn't really think about it and nothing really changed. And I still had plenty of energy throughout the day. So I was just like, well, I'm not addicted to it. So, oh God, do I need coffee? But I thought, well, I'm not addicted to it, so that's not gonna be a big deal to cut out. I'm just gonna miss it mentally because I love it first thing in the morning. It's what I look forward to. So I decided to do it. I cut out caffeine while I started the Bean Protocol, and I had a full-on reaction. It was an intense reaction. So when they talk about cutting out caffeine or really anything that you may be addicted to, it's weaning off of it. You gotta wean yourself back. Well, I'm not like that. I went cold turkey. But going cold turkey paired with this liver detox I was on because of the Bean Protocol, that was a bad idea. So immediately I had flu-like symptoms. I had chills, I had body aches, and I had this incredible soreness and achiness where my liver is. At one point, I couldn't even work out for a week because the achiness hurt so bad. It hurt to do any sort of movement, let alone just walk. So I don't recommend trying that. Try weaning yourself off of it if you're interested in cutting it out. But the whole reason around cutting out caffeine is Caffeine is high in histamine, and histamine can cause an inflammatory reaction. And this reaction can show itself in many different ways, from rashes to eczema to anxiety, heart racing, I think we all know that one, ulcers, and you guessed it, acne. And I was dealing with it pretty bad back then. So I said, well, I want to cut out this acne, and if this is the way to do it, I'm going to do it. So I cut it out. I had a really terrible first week. The second week was not so fun either. I wanted it so bad. And what was crazy was I thought I wasn't addicted in the first place. And then I got to those first 2 weeks of cutting it out, and I craved it all the time. I felt that addiction to this caffeine. And that really scared me. Number one, that I was addicted. Number two, that my body was detoxing it in such an intense way. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, should I be consuming this? It made me really question caffeine in the first place. But guess what? As I had my soluble fiber, as I did the bean protocol, and I cut out caffeine, my acne cleared up. So I stuck away from it for a year. I would have a decaf coffee, and I have Nespresso decaf coffee, which has around 12 to 15 milligrams of caffeine in it. And I would have that once in a great while. Sometimes I would grab something out, like a decaf coffee out at a coffee shop, but I pretty much stayed away from it, had tea, had water, and just let my skin figure itself out. Then after a year of cutting it out, staying away from it, I got pregnant, and I hated it every single day of it, and I wanted something to look forward to, and that was when I added decaf coffee back into my life while I was pregnant, and it was glorious. A little bit of heavy cream, a little bit of maple syrup, a little cinnamon. You stir that up with your Nespresso, and you're like, I love you, world. It was the only thing I had to look forward to every day, you know, other than meeting my child someday, but it's hard to get in that mindset. But the decaf coffee, that was good. Now, if you look on the internet to see if caffeine is good for you or bad for you, you can find both responses. The World Wide Web will teach you nothing other than what you want it to. So if you want some biased information, you can find it. I've looked all over the internet, and there's all kinds of information about why caffeine is good for you and why it's bad for you. But I think it's good to think about things that were previously good for us in the past. At first, people thought soda was good for you. Do we still think that? No. Let's drink some water. I'm parched, by the way. People thought cigarettes were good for you at one point. Just smoking it up. Oh my God, what are we gonna think about vapes in the future from now? Just like smoking from a pen, just toxins into your face. People thought margarine was better for you. Ew, just a bunch of vegetable oils, just like cooked up. Get yourself some butter. I just started following this butter guy on Instagram, and he's wonderful. There was even heroin as cough medicine. They thought the best way to cure a cough was taking heroin. So now, after experiencing this detox from caffeine, I really wonder, is caffeine going to be the new cigarettes in the future? Are we gonna look back and think, I can't believe people drank coffee all day, every day, went to coffee shops, drank it first thing in the morning before anything else? It's something to think about. Now, I'd like to tell you that I found the perfect coffee alternative, but I thought they were all terrible. I didn't like any of them. I pretty much drank athletic greens first thing in the morning and then 40 ounces of water, and I never felt better. Now, I usually start my day with athletic greens and a decaf coffee if I'm feeling it, but it's nice to not feel addicted to something. The only reason I share this is because most of us are addicted to caffeine, unless you're one of those few people who don't drink coffee, and it's something to look at. Can you cut it out and be fine with it and then have it back in? Can you function better without it long term? Are you gonna have a slump where you don't have as much energy, but then you come back up? I think it's good to constantly use our bodies as an experiment. Figure out what makes you thrive best. And you may think you do well with coffee, because I think I did too. But now when I look back, I was sweating profusely as soon as I had my morning cup of coffee. My heart was racing, I started sweating, I was having anxiety immediately in the morning. And now I can start my day with ease. Just something to think about. And if you are watching this and say, I could never cut my coffee out, you're probably the person who needs to do it the most. It's good for all of us. Cut things out, add them back in, see how you feel. Constantly use your body as an experiment. I know I said that already, but experiment, experiment, experiment. Now on that note, I have not drank enough water today, so I'm gonna drink a little bit more. Have you cut out caffeine? What did you experience? Did you have withdrawals? Were you feeling like crap, or did you feel great? You're like, this is easy, I'm not addicted at all. I wanna know. Everybody's body is a little bit different and detoxes things a little different. I have a slow liver detox pathway, so I'm not surprised that I don't do well with these high stimulating drinks. Shucks, that's a bummer. But I wanna hear your story. Share it in the comment section below and stay tuned. I have a few more videos I think you're gonna like.